This is the OG call. Your boy Cat Daddy back up in the building. Hey, already, yo, like I said, man, we gonna keep this going with the OG call, man. I had to do a little bit more with it from last time. I had to bring in a new flavor to the show. It's not just about the music, but it's also about us as OGs, man. You know, this is our music. This is what we grew up in. But also, you know, showing the growth and development of us as well. And I got a very, very special guest with us right now on the OG call. This brother here has been hey, his story is one of the streets of being locked down, having to sit, you know, a path of redemption, you know, just, you know, and growth, man, growth and development. You know, he's the author of Miles in the Life, the story of a BMF drug trafficker. He was a member of Black Mafia family. I know y'all brothers know, y'all know the name. There ain't no explanation there. Also, it has an accompanying documentary that definitely want to check out on Amazon Prime. It's out there right now. Make sure you check it out. I ain't gonna do too much talking about. I just want to introduce my brother, man. This is my man Jabari Hayes. What's going on, bro?
Thank you, OG Cat Daddy, for allowing me to be on your show and to promote our platform. You know, people know me as Jabari Hayes, but they used to know me as Miles. And I'm the author of Miles in the Life, the book, and also our award-winning documentary, Miles in the Life, the redemption story of a Black Mafia family drug trafficker. And we just kind of take you along the trail of our narrative, not the DEA, not the prosecutors, no hate, but our narrative. Where did you come from? Like, how could you get in a car with 100 kilos of cocaine and do it every day? How do you get in a car with $2 million and think that is okay? You know, where did you come from? Well, I came from a crack house in Brooklyn, New York, in Gowana's nefarious projects. My mother was addicted to crack cocaine and alcohol. But today, the redemption story and inspirational story is my mother has 22 years clean and sober. So we try not to focus on so much of the strip clubs, the cars, the strippers, the houses, the cocaine, the money, the pills, and all the rest of the stuff. We look at the complete story. Where did you come from? What did you do before this? We know you went to prison. We know you sat down for this time. But what are you doing more importantly after this? So we're trying to use our experience to help, you know, women, men, and juveniles who are in the prison systems or who are coming out or who are glorifying. You know what I mean? They're like, you know, I think of big Larry Hoover flipping work, but you really saying hallelujah to selling drugs. You praising God for selling drugs. So we're just trying to do our little part and pay it forward to help our young women and men to say, hey, look, this ain't for you. You don't want this. You see me today shining, the money, the cars, the jewelry, the wheels. You know what I'm saying? You see the trips, but you don't see that trip when I go to prison. You don't see that trip when I'm on 23 and 1 lockdown. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that trip where I lose 30 pounds in 3 months because it's a terrible environment. You don't see the trip when I lose everything in my life. You don't see the trip when I don't get the chance to see my son, my mother, my father. My father has Parkinson's. You don't see the times when you're sitting in that cell and when your relative dies and you can't go to that funeral. You don't see that. All you see is the flash. You know what I'm saying? You're blowing money fast. We're doing this. We're at Magic City. We're at the Gentleman's Club. We're in Mexico. All of these other places. We're trying to show the complete story and also that you can change your life, but you got to change your thoughts first. So, you know, we're just giving a different narrative, man. And it's our story by us and for us, you know?
That's dope. That's what's up, man. And I think that's what really this is what the OG call is about. You know what I'm saying? And this like when I said when I wanted to redo it, it was more of a thing of like I wanted to celebrate the music. that we grew up with. And like with a lot of it, it was a lot of gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? It was all talking about that, and we lived it. A lot of us lived
Right.
that life.
From
um
St. Louis, you can't help but to live
you
it.
can't help
You
but
know
live
what I
it.
mean?
For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It's a reason they call it Hustle City.
Yeah.
So um
Yeah.
what you have to, but like you said, man, there's a that yellow brick road, man, turns dark after a while, and it's not a matter of
Yeah.
if, it's a matter of when. um
Absolutely.
and then what that's going to do is going to test you as a person. It's going to test your integrity. It's going to test your
Absolutely.
willpower. It's going to test your character. Is if you are you going to fold to that pressure, or give in to those uh to to that lifestyle and let it take you when it's taken from you, or can you rise up and go within yourself, and be more than your situations, and be more than what's happened to you. And I think with as us as OGs, we've done something, man. In my opinion, I think and I'm not saying specifically, I'm speaking in general, just from what I see from other brothers uh, that's been out there that maybe got some age on them and everything. With us, man, we almost failed the generations that came after us, because we didn't see that road. And as we're not looking at the road ahead of us, the ones behind us are looking at us living the way that we live and
Right.
doing what we do. And
Absolutely.
then we didn't teach them nothing different. We didn't show them that there was a better life, or that you can do something different. And now, like I say, we grew up, we was in St. Louis in the 80s and the 90s, which was a
Right.
crazy time.
Absolutely.
But now it's multiplied. So
Yeah.
even now, and I think that is no coincidence that that's a direct result of what we did, or failed to do as a
Right.
community, as black men in our communities, and standing up. um
I
Not necessarily.
totally agree.
Yeah,
To-
definitely, man.
and
So
like you said,
mhm.
the important part about your show, the OGs talking to the younger brothers. You ever been around a kid like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years old? What you do is what they do.
Mhm.
They are sponges to what they see. We could tell them all we want, but our actions is what they really feed off of. You know what I mean? And you're correct in that we haven't committed our time and our actions to show them different, because in the 80s and 90s we was out there so bad that when they came along and they saw us, they said, that's who I want to be like.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We didn't show them, hey, look, we got to take a different path. Like, look,
Yeah.
this is what was then. We made some wrong choices, but we got a choice now. We got to show them with our actions. You know what I mean? We can tell them and give them lip service all we want, say,
Yeah.
hey, blood, don't do this, whatever, whatever, whatever. But we got to show them in our actions and the way we move. Because if you ever watch that kid is emulating you because of what they saw. You usually
Mhm.
do what you see, not what you hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if it's negative what you're hearing and negative what you're seeing, the result is probably going to be a negative result. And you're going to do the things that we did, and that cycle never stops. And I think
Mhm.
what your show does is it gives a platform to say, we're the OGs, we got to give back, we got to pay it forward, we got to
Mhm.
share our talents. Like, and I'm no theologian or whatever, but there's a story in the Bible about talents, about a man giving one man talents, another man talents, and another man talents. I feel like some of us who have such a wealth of talent and gifts to give to somebody else, we're just holding them in. We aren't
Mhm.
giving that young brother the game. We aren't showing them that, look, you can lead a full life. Like I tell people all the time, I I had a rich money life when I was trafficking drugs, but I have a rich life completely now. Like, I've been to Barcelona, I've been to Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Turks and Caicos. And I went to Barcelona last summer. And I say those things to say that you can still live good. You got to plan, you got to save, and everything else. You could still. It's nothing was. It's very few things that I can't do right now. I just choose not to do them, and other things are important. So I live a full life. I can do almost whatever I want, but I'm not looking over my shoulder.
Right.
I'm not worried about who I shot at, who is at me, who I'm at. Because in St. Louis, our city, our beloved city, everybody know where everybody mama live. Everybody know where everybody aunt live, and they coming to get you. That's why our murder rate is so high, because we get to beef and we see each other all the time and we're at each other. So we've got to take that thought first. Thought leads to action, leads to consequence, positive or negative.
Right.
We as OGs from your show, we got to say, okay, look, we are the ones that need to guide our young brothers and our young sisters. And it's not just our young brothers, it's our sisters too, because they don't see somebody that looks like them that's successful other than Lil D or Lil Tony on the block. Best car, best houses, best jewelry, best clothes, best food. They only see that little small portion, right? They don't see when they go away and somebody else take their place. They need to see people like you doing good, living good, talking good, walking good, riding good, everything, right? To say, I can do this too. I don't have to take that path. Because, and I'm not being sexist, but a lot of ways that the brother goes, the sister goes too. You feel me? So as men, we need to take a better leadership role and show our younger brothers and our sisters too. But hey, look, this is a path you can take. You can live just as full of life, not have to worry, about shootouts. And guess who wins in the end? The funeral home and the lawyers.
Yep.
That's who really win. Because you got a date with prison and you got a date with death when you in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's inevitable.
And like it's and I agree 110%, bro. And it's like you said, it's one way. You know, you don't see anybody if you can get in that game and get out with your freedom and with your life, consider yourself 100% blessed. I don't know too many brothers that have been able to get out of it without any legal issues or without with their lives or their family lives intact. Um, and like you said, to your point earlier, there's things that the younger generation don't see. They see the flashiness because it's right there, it's in your face, but you don't know what that brother had to do earlier that day when you see him going out to the club. You don't
Right.
know who he had to pull up on, to get that money that he flashing in the club.
Yeah.
You don't know where he gonna go after that. You don't know what's gonna happen after he leave the club. You just see what's in front of you, or when you see him out, riding in the car. You don't know. It's so much energy that's attached to that materialism, and so much energy attached to just living that lifestyle that it's almost like you have to wear a mask to flex and the shine and all of that, but they don't see the shadows that's chasing that shine.
Yeah. Yeah.
um and it's always and when I saw your documentary, um so much of it resonated with me or with people that I know. Automatically it resonated because we come from the same area, of course. So I visually I saw that, but just hearing the story of having to deal with growing up in the situations and being knowledgeable of or being able to transition from one extreme to another, and then to a third one, which comes to the end of it, the end of that lifestyle or whatever. But it I think in those times, like when you say when you're on lockdown or whatever, when you can't move like how you used to, you have to go within yourself. It's a time where when that right before that redemption hits, you're gonna hit that rock bottom. You're gonna go through
Absolutely.
that stage of I'll say go through a depression. um you
It's
know
trauma.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It
a
is
trauma.
trauma. It's very,
It's a
very
trauma.
traumatic.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's a whole other conversation. I mean, I don't see, you know, it, to even deal with that on the law enforcement side of things. And this is just, I'm kind of going off the rails on off kilter on this one. But with me, it's like, yeah, if it's non-violent crimes or whatever, the police are gonna or the law enforcement is gonna treat you the exact same way. Your law enforcement to them is just, it's the law, it's the law. They don't give a damn who you are. When they coming after you, they coming after you. You know, they don't realize you as a person. They don't give a damn about your character, nothing like that. All they know is that you was a name that came across their desk, you know, and then now here you go and dealing with the trauma that comes with that, the trauma that comes
Yeah.
with the aftermath, all of that. I
Yeah.
almost say we should sue law enforcement for pain and suffering sometimes. But you know, that's just, you know,
Yeah.
I'll joke about
It's
that. But I mean, it's real though.
you when you say that, it's so funny when you talk about the trauma and the officers. Like, I've talked to some officers, and some of them told me, say, "Hey, look, I'm just a tool. I'm just a hammer."
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I got a job. And
Yep.
so I always listened and remembered that look, this is business. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's my job not to be in your clutches, and it's your job to catch me.
Right.
So I gotta be on point, right? And the 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 dehumanization that happens, because it goes, you're separated from your family, right? When you go to
Mm-hmm.
prison, and then you're isolated. So separation and isolation, I think that's a incredible time for us. Hopefully, no, we don't have to go through it, but if we do go through it, is that time for us to have that reflection and to have that, like, all of us were good planners. We
Yeah.
don't think we're good planners, but we were. All this crazy stuff, we had to plan it, right? And we had that energy. And it's time for us to retool that energy we had and say, okay, look, the true difference between a CEO of a Fortune 500 company and a CEO of a drug business is one goes to the strip club as their country club, and the other one goes to the country club. They're almost no different. They
Mm-hmm.
have the same drive, they have the same energy. They are both, in some senses, cutthroat. They're both, all of them, women and men, very well seasoned. They know every angle. It's just one does something illegal. So you got to take that energy and transfer it someplace else. You also have to recognize the trauma that you've been through. Like, when you go to prison or you're in that life, you become so desensitized to the stuff that you and I know is normal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
now our lives are normal, but when we was in that situation, that was normal too. But our normality is so skewed because we're looking at police, we're looking at lawyers, we're looking at our homeboys getting killed, the homeboys getting popped, who we beefing with, what we got to do, how we're forced in that lifestyle to deal with things in a certain way. So I think if we took all of that energy and all of that skill set that we had and we transferred it into whatever else we can do that we love to do, that we'll all be super successful. I think some of the most successful people, that the people that could be the most successful in the world are those who had every obstacle against them and have succeeded for a while, right? And
Definitely.
to
Definitely.
take that and to take that downtime and put that plan together. Because they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Exactly.
So I think that one of the biggest things that we can do now is our brothers and sisters and juveniles that are in prison, that we could give them some type of support without hurting ourselves. And so that way, while they're in, and then when they come out, they've got some type of base. They've got some type of place to go, not to live, but a place to go, even if you mentor, even if you say, I set aside a couple pair of pants for you, even if you say, look, what do you want to do? I'm going to make some calls. Like, okay, I got some sneakers for you that I used to have, or I got some work boots, like simple things like that. you forget that this woman or man has lost everything. They lost their car, they lost their place to live, they lost relatives, they've lost their girlfriends, their boyfriends, whatever the case is. Like, what type of support system do we have while they're in there so that when they transition, they don't become a super criminal? Because when you're in prison, you learn all of the other crimes or all the ways that you went wrong when you were doing what you were doing. So you either gonna come out a superhuman being or you're gonna come out a super criminal. So I think we really need to attack that segment right there, that small population, because the truth, we're the boogeyman, we're the murderers, we're the scam artists, we're the drug dealers, right? We have some of the, I would want to say, one of the biggest impacts on society than any other demographic. When we come out, billion-dollar companies, ADT, police departments, judicial branch, legislative branch, DEA, FBI, CIA, Secret Service, ATF, all of these acronym associations are geared towards stopping us. So merely by us not doing the crime and being prepared for that marathon when we get out, we have one of the most powerful situations to change the world by simply not doing a crime. I went on and on, but I really want people to know that we need to support our prisoners while they're in and when they're making that transition out. Because if we don't, that 68% recidivism door is just going to continue, and that cycle just continues. And the pain and the trauma, the broken families, and the murders and everything else is just going to continue to go.
I can't, man. I couldn't have said it better, bro. I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, like you said, it's the way that things are set up, and we're talking. You know, I want like the listeners and everybody watching, that these ideas that you come up with, Jabari, or things that I talk, or whatever we building on. I want you guys to understand, man, these are the type of things these are the conversations that we need to have within, amongst each other, you know, among the communities, you know. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, you know. It's because we're talking about undoing decades
Yeah,
of incarceration. We're talking about undoing centuries of mental imprisonments, you know.
absolutely.
So but you know, I honestly feel, you know, that we're in a amazing time right now in human history, to where we can, you know, enact some real change and have, you know, participate in this, in the shift in consciousness, you know. That's
Absolutely.
gonna It's gonna definitely allow us, you know, and I'm to me, it's a great time for me to be alive, you know, because I was able to get through my shadow work. You know, I was able to get through a lot of tough times to be able to realize what purpose, you know, can I find a purpose, or can first of all, where's my redemption? You know, finding that redemption and finding purpose, and in order to be able to do that, you know, once you come across that, or put or when you're embracing that type of energy, it's going to bring those type of people around you. Once you have
Just
truly,
like you.
yeah,
Just
exactly, bro.
think, just like you. That energy is contagious and it
Hmm.
grows. And you said something important. You said we're at a unique point in history and we can be part of that culture of change.
Hmm.
You know? I mean, you hit it exactly on the head, brother. Yeah, you hit it, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I think it's one of those things to where, why what made me say it like that is because we're in a weird I say we in a unique position, because I myself, I can think back to, I can remember when crack hit America, when crack hit
Yeah,
the ghettos of America. I remember that. I saw what it did to families. I saw what it did to families of users. I saw what it did to families of sellers. I saw what it did to whole communities. I've seen it. I've also been through the other side of it to know, and you know, and I'm blessed to be able to get through a lot of that and look back and be like, okay, I can't say I necessarily I regret nothing in life because it's made me who I am.
Absolutely.
You know, if I hadn't gone through certain struggles or gone through certain dark periods, I wouldn't have gained the strength, you know, and you know, I wouldn't have been able to look to the Most High to give me that strength to pay it forward, like you say, or to look at the generations coming up behind us and want to break this cycle. Um, so just seeing all of it, seeing, you know, different phases of culture, of our culture, just going through so much. And it's like now to me, and I don't know about you, but to me it seems like we've had enough of of what we've done, as, and I'm talking in general, collectively, as a people, and as community. We've had enough, but now at this point it's time for the leaders to step up. It's time for the OGs to step up now, because our people looking for that guidance. They want to know what to do, and not to go. They know something ain't right,
Right.
something ain't sitting right, and they know that it's something. They don't, maybe not everybody knows quite what it is, but they know something. This ain't how it's supposed to be. And it's up to us to, and we got to get to the root of that, and root to why things are the way they are. And it comes down to community. It comes down to brothers being leaders, brothers and sisters, you know,
Mhm.
being leaders, for us men to be fathers, for the women to be mothers, you know, for us as people to be collective, and look out for each other. You know, it was really prominent, you know, back in, you know, it took the civil rights movement during the 60s, and a lot of the, like, the Black Panther parties and all of that. You know, we start showing that unity and showing that love for ourselves and our people. And then it just seems like as that movement, as that energy was flowing, then boom, here comes crack. You know,
Yeah.
let's break it down. You know,
Yeah.
let's switch up this judicial system. Let's implement this three strikes. Let's implement. You know, it came to a thing of which political party was tougher on crime or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, and
The mass
basically,
incarceration,
yep,
the
the
crack laws, and the
exactly.
inequity in sentencing and the
Mm-hmm.
inequality, everything.
That
Yeah,
whole
it did
war.
a doozy on us. The
Yeah,
80s
yeah.
was rough.
The
80s
whole
and 90s is a tough one.
was
So much of
crazy.
our so much of our community left our community,
Hmm.
physically and also left mentally, because that crack cocaine, man, it it really almost decimated us.
Hmm.
As a beautiful and as a strong people as we are, crack cocaine, it cut us in every which way from the top to the bottom. It the crack economy ran things,
Hmm.
because people, you weren't trying to be a firefighter or a teacher. You wanted to sell them rocks. It was the quickest get rich scheme
Hmm.
that you've seen, and you could taste it, smell it, see it. The vials on the ground when you went on the block, when you walked to the bus station, everywhere you went. So we bought into the nightmare, and what it did is it cut our men off.
Hmm.
It dehumanized our women, and it indoctrinated our children, where with no mother, no father, or the father in prison, or the mother in prison, who's raising the kid? So now the streets is raising the kid, you know? And this one is gonna sound crazy, but then with don't laugh, but with videos. So we see the videos now, it's like, okay, we want to be like the videos. So we emulate that, and all we're doing is emulating the rappers were emulating the drug dealers that they saw. And so now the rappers are emulating the drug dealers that they saw. It's going on the screen. The kids are looking at it. Now they don't want to be that business person. They don't want to be the lawyer. They don't want to be the trash man. They want to be Lil D or Lil Tony on the block. So
Hmm.
I think it set us back, but I'm very optimistic that there's a movement for change. And sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to change. Like if you want to lose weight or if you want to get bigger, you got to change your habits. You know, you can't do the same thing. And I think it's coming to that place, and unfortunately it'll get worse before it's got to get better. But if we all took a little portion to say we're going to change this, our little part would be a whole lot better. And also, like a lot of our younger people are tired. They're really tired and they're bucking. And they have every right to buck, because it's like this. If you beat me every day and I ask you nicely, hey, can you stop beating me? But you beat me every day. Why would you stop beating me?
Exactly.
Why? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes before there's anything else that has, I'm not a violent man, but sometimes before, they say that last act of diplomacy is war. Nobody wants to go to war, and I don't want our country to go to war, but right now we're at war. You know what I mean? Because people aren't laying down. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And until, it's just like the boycotts, until we hit you in the pocket, that's when the change came. Before, we were riding in the back of the bus, right? And then we said we were going to do it. We said we were going to do it. We still were riding the bus. Until we stopped riding that bus, that's when the change came, you know? And I think we'll be better off for it. But a lot of people's eyes have to be opened. And I love all people, but we got to give a little bit of ourselves. We got to be a little uncomfortable before it can be better.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I appreciate that sentiment, because it's in as a community, definitely. And I think within ourselves as individuals, we have to be able to be uncomfortable. You have to step outside your comfort zone if you want to grow. You have to be able to know that I want to change. I'm going to make this change, but you can't have the change without dealing with something that you're not used to, without dealing with
Yeah.
something that's going to be new,
Right.
and it's going to be scary. So I always say that the biggest thing that people can do, or the hardest thing that a person can do, is face themselves. If you can face yourself and get through it, then you're fine. But that's not an easy task. It's not easy for
Yeah.
a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
because that means that would entail letting go of a lot of what you become accustomed to, what you grew up with, the people you're around,
Yeah.
how you deal with yourself, and how you take care of yourself. You got to let a
Yeah.
lot of that go if you really want to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
like
yeah,
that. You got to let it go before you can grow. Yeah. You
definitely.
better patent it. You better trademark it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to do that. We are gonna have to go in on that one, bro.
Man. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
So,
You know,
but
beautiful thing.
yeah, man. Let's a little bit more about your documentary. How did that come about? Like who did you speak with? How did that happen? When did it happen? When did the book come? Like, when did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
You know, I think this may be the first time I've ever told this story, but I was in prison, and I wanted to write a screenplay. So I said, you know what? I got the time, and I started writing. And I was in Detroit then, in Wayne County, and I was writing with a 3-inch golf pencil. And if somebody had a pair of sneakers, because they wouldn't let you wear shoes, because you had sneakers on, you can kick and stomp better. You got better grip to fight. So somebody had some sneakers. So the sneaker rubber I used to use as an eraser, and I started writing, and I was terrible. I was terrible, but I had time, and I kept at it. I kept at it, and then I said, well, let me write a book. So I finished the book, and my ego let me publish it. I had a Rolex that I had. I sold the Rolex while I was inside, and I put all my money into getting these books printed. Well, I couldn't really push the books but it was setting me up for the future. So I met my banker. We had a relationship for 2 years, business banker. And he told me he was shooting videos. So I was like, well, I gave him my book. Next thing you know, we're going back and forth. And he was like, let's do a documentary. And so it was, but what it was, you know, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Right.
I had a body of work. I put in the time, the blood, sweat, and tears, and created some intellectual property in a temporary place for me, prison. And I used that, and we got the documentary, and spent a little too much money because I wanted to do it in New York. I wanted to do it in St. Louis. I don't have any regrets because we wanted the whole narrative. But it's crazy right now. Like Miles in the Life is on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you know, but Amazon Prime has like 300 million, not 300,000, 300 million subscribers. And each month, my my documentary is showed in 13 countries. Like, it's so incredible, man. Like, people come to my shop or people stop me, and you never know. Like, a white woman driving a Porsche in her 50s. She tells about how her father was addicted to crack cocaine. She had a child when she was 15, and her struggles. Like, so many of us have went through it. I think the most incredible thing is that the story shows that so many of us went through so many similar things, and now we need to not cuff out talents and gifts. We need to give them away, and not just in money, but to say, look, you see me today and you think, oh, you got this, you got that, or you're this, you're that, but you didn't see where I came from. I came from the same place, and if I can do it, I know you can too. So that's the coolest thing about being on a platform like Amazon. And I don't know if you know this one. You know how much Amazon is worth?
Oh, they're in the trillion mark.
1.1 trillion.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I mean? And so, and I say that because it's such a great vehicle where you can be an independent filmmaker and make the movie you want, not the movie that the people who give you the money want you to make. You don't have to water down your brand. You don't have to succumb to what they want you to do. You can do what you know is best for the story. And that's why I love that platform so much, because it gave us the opportunity to have, like, every month 13 countries, 14 countries all around the world. Like, you and just like with your show is gonna be in places where you'll never ever imagine you'll be. Like, somebody was like, yo, my man watched it in Bangladesh. Bangladesh?
Right.
Like, Miles in the Life was in Bangladesh, man. Like, something we created, our story, my family's life now was setting seeds in Bangladesh where people can relate to it. Like, that's incredible, man. You know?
It really is, man. And I think that um what we gotta realize, like with a story like yours, or with a, that is, is your story, but it's the story of so many
So
brothers.
many. Yeah, man.
It
So many.
really is. It's an American story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got, when you talk about the All Americans, it's there. It's got everything an American story
Yeah.
can want, or should entail. Um, and I think with that documentary, that's what, like I said, I already said, it resonated with me, for one, because we were coming from, you were in St. Louis. You went to school actually with my older brother. You guys were in the same graduating class together. Um, it resonated with me on a personal level, but it also resonated with me on a spiritual level. Just looking at going through uh certain aspects of life, and having that redemption as well. And I think what makes it so important is that it can show, hey man, we're not, we're not repeat offenders. A lot of these brothers aren't. You know, not everybody
Right.
is false victim to the recidivism rate. You
Yeah.
know, so not every brother falls to that. A good chunk of them. And it gives a clear understanding, because you know it humanizes. You know,
Yeah.
it's humanizing because you can point out a person's mistakes that they make, and if you want to judge somebody by their mistakes, then which people do, then that is what it is. But if you can give insight to who they are as a person, and how they carry themselves, or how they feel, or what their character is, you know, it changes people's perspective. And I think that's really what the dialogue has been a lot lately, or what it should be about, is to humanize this, not to think that this
Yeah.
is something that, oh, that's over here on this side of the country, or it's not in my neighborhood, or something like that. I'm not worried about it, you know, that's just
Right.
who they are, whatever. But to the human story in this documentary, it resonated with me on a human level, on a level of another brother,
Yeah.
as a spirit, you know, on a spiritual level as well. So, and I think that's where the conversation needs to go. That's a good
Absolutely.
key of the conversation, is that these brothers and sisters that are incarcerated, they are human. You know,
Hmm.
they've made mistakes, and a lot of them
Right.
see the error of what they've done. Um, but a lot of times the system don't see them as that. They don't see them as human, or see them as somebody that just made a mistake, and then that's it. You
Yeah.
know, or this person is worthy of redemption, or worthy of proving that they are not what their situations are, you know.
Yeah. I
um
agree, man.
and
You,
and
you did one slip. You let it out once. You said over
what
there. You let that St. Louis out. I heard it. I heard it. I don't know if the listeners caught it. You said over there. Over
it come
there. Yeah.
I can't get
Yeah.
away from it, man. I can't get
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But you said something true. I think uh, middle America and mainstream America is really getting a taste of it in the opioid
Hmm.
situation now. They're really getting a chance to see and to feel, because it's not just poor people. It's not. It's with that. It's hitting suburbia. It's
Right.
hitting the rich. It's hitting the middle class, and they're going to prison and
Oh
they're
yeah.
dying. You know what I mean? And so now I think is the perfect storm for all of us to get together. I want to be a unifier, not a divider, where we all get together because we got a common problem, whether it's
Hmm.
crack or whether it's heroin. Our children are dying, our young men are dying, they're hurting each other and hurting other people. So I think once we really kind of realize that, like, look, we may come from different places, we may have a different amount in our bank accounts, but that pain is universal.
Yeah.
Because when your child is in that on that gurney in the morgue at the medical examiner, it doesn't matter if you're black, it doesn't matter if you're white, blood, crip, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a custodian. Your child is on that gurney and they are dead and you are in pain. And that don't matter who you are, where you are, what you've done, that pain is universal, you know? So I think when we really kind of get to that point to say, this isn't just that community's problem or that community's problem, it's all of our problems.
Hmm.
And I'm going to shut up after this, but it's a question for you. What do you think the Federal Bureau of Prisons budget was 3 years ago? And whatever number you say, I want you to up it. If you think in one number, do it times 10 and you'll still be too low. What do you think the Federal Bureau of Prisons budget was for less than 200,000 inmates 3 years ago?
I would have to put it. I'd have to put it in the billions.
Very
I
smart.
Have to.
6+ billion, not 60, not 600 million, $6+ billion. One of the top 15 federal expenditures for 200,000. Now, that's just like less than 10% of the prison population in the United States of America, not to include probation, supervised release, or parole. That's 4+ million. But think about that. Like, we say we want to save our country. We're in trillions of dollars of debt, deficit spending, and all of this stuff. If we really focused on us not coming back and recidivism, that small portion, I think we would be better off as a city, as a county, as a state, as a country, and as a world. You know what I mean? Because we have a huge problem. We're the most industrialized nation in the world, but we imprison more people than any other country, other than like the communist countries just making concentration camps. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not a. I don't think that's a coincidence
yeah,
either. Not at all. And I always say, if you wanna figure out where issues really lie, if you want to figure out the underlying problems of society, I always say follow the money.
yeah,
See where the money, see who's making money, see how much, see how often. And
yeah,
if you have anybody who's got any business sense knows that prison is big business. It is huge business, and it's built off of the backs of minorities. It's built off prison labor, basically, a lot of it.
facts, facts, yeah,
And and I think that goes back even more so to what you were saying before, is that if we want to end this, or if we want to get them to raise an eyebrow, hit them in their pockets. Let's educate our people. Let's educate the youth to where they don't become victims of that, to where they don't have to get caught up in that system. Bring them numbers down. Now you don't give them a reason to put you in that system. Don't become that number to them. Um, you know, and that just comes with education, and it comes with the genuine love of self, knowledge of our everyone around us, and having a genuine love, for yourself and for your people and for
yeah,
humanity as a whole. Like you say, it's not just us, and we have to look at that. Because you mentioned the opioid epidemic. Um, to me, I started I when it first started, that term first started coming around. It made me bitter. It made me upset,
yeah, of course,
because I'm like, oh, now it's a problem because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
done
yeah,
hit the
yeah,
suburbs.
yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's an
yeah,
epidemic that's gotta be dealt with.
yeah,
Now these people who have opioid addiction, now these are people that need help.
yeah,
Whereas when it was crack and it was
yeah,
in the minority community, oh, they're criminals.
yeah,
They need to
yeah,
be locked up.
yeah, yeah,
So it
yeah, yeah.
upset
You're
me.
right. Yeah, yeah. It
Um,
is frustrating because it started when it was the crack epidemic. It was those people, and because a lot of our um, poorer people in the country and the suburbs, when it was methamphetamine, but it wasn't hitting middle class and the rich. Now the opioid epidemic has hit hard and it's killing them. Not just strung out, it's killing them. And now I think a lot of changes start happening. But and you're right. I I was very hurt and frustrated and angry, but I had to pull myself back.
mhm.
I got to say, they don't know no better. But now they know better, and it's up to us to give it to them and give it to them real. Like,
Mhm.
look, like I said, when your kid, because we all love our children. When your child is on that gurney, no matter who you are, black, white, poor, rich, that pain is pain. That pain is universal. That pain will break you. That pain will make you become a shell of who you were. You know what I mean? So I think that pain will lead to change, but I just want to be part of the conversation of change. I'd love for people to watch Miles in the Life. I hope they enjoy it. And if You like it or don't like it. Write a review. I don't care if you
Mhm.
don't like it. Write a review on Amazon Prime. Let me know what you think. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the haters, hey, look, I cheer for them. Hey, all you got to do is click. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just keep clicking. Just keep
Exactly.
clicking. You know? So, yeah, brother, and I appreciate you, man, allowing me on your show and on this platform. I know you'll do great things and you'll continue to do it and push an agenda of positivity, of community, of us really having an honest conversation with ourselves. You know, this is just a small seed, you know, but everything starts from a seed. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
This seed is gonna grow and flourish, and you're gonna be out at the mall, and people are gonna be like, "Man, your show changed my life." You know, so I appreciate you.
That's the hope, man. If I can pay it forward in any way possible, I'm with that. And I appreciate you coming on, brother. I appreciate you know when I first reached out to you, you know, and I had already saw, like I say, the documentary. I'm on my this is I watched it again, and I'm on my third time watching it.
Thank
And
you.
every time it's, you know, it hits, and every time it gives me something new to think about, or gives me a reason to want to make changes within and outside of
Right.
myself. So I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for coming on, man. You got any other social medias or anything anybody can like check you out, or websites or anything?
Yeah, you can go to currently till August 6th. Currently I'm on blackdocs.com. I'm on Amazon.prime. Instagram, I'm Miles in the Life, the movie. Um, you know, check it out on Amazon Prime. You can go to Vimeo, wherever you want to go. We'll be on Tubi TV soon. So our platforms that we're currently on is blackdocs.com, Amazon Prime. Will be on Tubi TV. You can also purchase it if you wanted to on Vimeo. You know, Vimeo, not Venmo, but Vimeo. So thank you again, man.
All right, y'all. We have been talking with my man Jabari Hayes. Make sure you check it out, Miles in the Life, the documentary, on all those platforms. And you know, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to let you go, brother. I
All
appreciate your
right.
time.
Thank you,
And
man.
hey, thank you. I hope to have you on again, man. I love building with you, man, and seeing what we, you
Same
know,
here.
let's take it up a notch on, you know, see
Okay.
what we can do outside of this. So
Let's do it.
um
All
for
right,
real,
brother.
for real, y'all. All right, brother. You take care, man. You have a
All
good
right,
one.
you too.
All
Be
right, man.
safe.
Yep.
All right, bye bye.
All right, y'all. That was my man, Jabari Hayes. You know, you got to check him out. Miles in the Life, the story of a BMF drug trafficker. The book is out. The documentary is out. It's on Amazon Prime. You know, make sure you follow him, check him out. And like I said, y'all, this is the OG call. Y'all know what I do. This is us. We celebrate the music that we grew up with, but we also celebrate the changes that we make as we start stepping into that elder role of the communities, you know. So, hey, always be blessed. Make your moves, make them known. Do your moves in silence. All right, y'all. Y'all just got done listening to the conversation I had with my man Jabari Hayes. Make sure you check out his documentary, Miles in the Life. The story of a BMF drug trafficker. Like you said, it's on Amazon Prime right now. Check it out. Support the brother. And like I said, y'all, I will continue to do this with the OG call. It's a thing of setting it up, making sure that we are can celebrate the music that we grew up with, the music that we ride to, that we do as OGs, but also to celebrate becoming responsible people in our community, as far as celebrating our growth and our development, and reaching back and helping those that's coming up behind us, and those that need us, as men. Our people need us, y'all. They do. So let's try to be leaders in every sense of the word, in any way that we can. Take care of your home, take care of your community, take care of yourself first and foremost. So hey, that's all I got right now. I appreciate everybody checking us out. For all of my YouTube watchers and listeners, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. I am definitely going to keep this material going. Hey y'all, let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, this is your boy Cat Daddy with the OG call. We'll check y'all out later.